So in this review, we're just going to look at how to graph equations, specifically quadratics, as that is how it applies to this unit. So our first example here is just the simple y equals x squared. So the first thing you'll want to do before graphing is to make a table of values. So what that means is you just have a set of x and y coordinates, because in order to create a graph, you need at least a couple points that contain both the x and the y coordinates. So for example, we could just take, let's say x equals, I'll do -2, I'll do 0, and I'll do +2. So in this equation, when x is -2, y equals -2 squared, which is -2 times -2 is 4. So when x is -2, y is 4. Using the same equation, when x is 0, y is 0. When x is +2, y is 4. Okay, so I've got 3 points, so I should be able to at least make a rough graph now. So I'm going to go on to where the graph paper is. All right, and so I'm going to say that's -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and so I know I had a point of 0, 0. I also had a point of -2, 4, and 2, 4. Okay, so my points are -2, 4, and 2, 4. And to plot these, the first number is the x, the second number is the y. This is the x-axis, and that is the y-axis. So the first number represents -2. Okay, that's the x. So I need to go left along the x-axis 2. So I go to -1 to -2, and then I go up 4. So I'm going to plot my point right there, because on the x-axis, that point is at -2, right there, and on the y-axis, it's at 4. Now I'm going to plot +2, 4. So +2 is to the right of the origin we define as being 0, 0. So x is +2 and y is +4. So I'm going to plot right here because my y is in the positive and my x is at +2. So now I'm going to, and I know it's a parabola, so I know it needs to be U-shaped. So this right here is my graph. And it's a very rough graph because I just took a few points, but that's all right. So now let's go into another example. So again, we're going to be, oh, the yellow doesn't work very well here. We're going to be looking at creating an x and y table of values so that we can plot our point. I'm just going to grab a more appropriate pen color here that will be visible. Okay, so we've got our x and y. And again, sure, I'll just take -2, 0, and 2. It really doesn't matter. And I'm going to see what the corresponding y is. So in this equation, x, we've got negative. Okay, so that equals -2 times -2 is 4 equals -2. So when x is -2, y is -2. When x is 0, so that's going to be negative. And each time I'm taking the original equation and just substituting in a value for x. So +2 equals, okay, 0 squared is 0, +2 equals 2. Okay, and now I'm going to try when x is 2. So that's going to equal -4 + 2 equals -2. Okay, and now I'm going to plot these points. So I'm going to go -1, -2, -1, -2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, So my x is -2 and y is -2. So that's going to be right here. My x is 0 when my y is 2. So that's going to be, oops, right there. And then when x is +2, y is -2. Okay, because that's a +2x and -2y. All right, so it looks like now I'm ready to draw a rough sketch and something like that. Okay, so one more example here, x and y. And I'm going to say, I'm going to choose really easy ones for this because it looks like it could get a little tricky with the math. So I'm just going to choose -1, 0, and 1. And I'll see if that's enough. So when x is -1, so -1 in for where the x is in the equation, that equals 1/4 minus 3. So that's going to be 1/4 minus 12/4, which equals -11/4. When x is 0, so that's going to be 1/4 times 0. Subtract 3 is going to be -3. And I'm actually going to change this to a 4 just to make the algebra even easier. So y equals 1/4, 4 squared minus 3 equals 1/4 times, let's see, 4 times 4 is 16, minus 3. 1 times 16 is 16, divided by 4 is 4, minus 3 equals 1. Okay, so now I'm going to plot these. So I'm going to have -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, uh-oh, and -3. A little messy, that's okay. So I'm going to plot -1 and -11/4. I'm going to convert that to a mixed fraction just because it's going to be easier. So that's the same as -2 and 3/4. So -1, -2 and 3/4 is going to be somewhere right there. And then 0 and -3. Oops. It's going to be right there. And 4, 1. So x is 4, y is 1. Okay, so good thing that we know that this is a parabola because then we can still do a rough sketch. And so it's going to be like something like that. Okay, so now see if you can work on the practice question on your own.